The church council has already discussed
I
it.
think I know where this is going.
We've decided to offer the position to Vi Rose Hill.
Thank you, Pastor.
Hello, welcome to What the Flick. We are full of the Spirit today. Hallelujah! Woo! Can I get an amen? I am Christy. This is Alonso. This is Ben. We're talking about Joyful Noise. This is, what, is it a comedy? Can we call it a comedy?
No.
About gospel music? What is it?
It's about gospel music,
Okay.
but I'm certainly not going to call it a comedy.
Please tell us what it's about.
Joyful Noise is the made-up gospel competition where gospel choirs from wildly integrated churches from across the country come together. This is a church in Georgia with its choir, and amazingly, it has an exactly even number of black people and white people. Got to be the only church
And there's
in
an
Georgia.
Asian dude, too.
There's one Asian guy. For a bit. So basically there are two people leading this choir. Queen Latifah, she's a single mother of two, fighting, holding a couple
exactly
of...
single.
Sort of single. Single for the purposes of my introduction. Struggling to raise her kids and believe in the gospel and keep the church choir going. And then Dolly Parton, she's the wealthy supporter of the choir. She's in the choir. She can barely move. And they bring the choir together, leading them to the national championships in Los Angeles, and it is painful from start to finish.
We are not going out like this. Not you, not me, and not this choir.
Well, I am who I am.
Well, maybe you were 5 procedures ago. And how much did she spend on all that?
Who cares if I've got a few little nips and tucks? God didn't make plastic surgeons so they could starve.
That was amazing.
Singing is the only time I feel important.
You know we're going to LA, right? Someone could hear you who might actually matter.
Joyful Noise.
We were talking about this earlier. Do you think that Christians will actually love this or not? I think it's sort of a really canny blend of people who love Glee and people who are super conservative and Christian. Like, this caters to these hugely underserved audiences as far as big mainstream films go. It's very canny, I think, in that regard.
But without being any good, of course, is the problem.
No, it's not good.
No, my partner grew up among evangelicals, and he was saying that he's not even sure that they're going to like it so much because there's, premarital sex, there's cursing, and I was kind of surprised at how little gospel there is in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of pop music.
There's a lot of in robes, but like not a lot of gospel, which I thought.
And then sort of in the big final number, and believe me, I'm not giving anything away here. The whole point is they like shed the robes and get sexy.
Yeah.
I got no beef with it being. I know you wanted me to introduce it because I'm the Jew here on the. I don't care about that stuff. I mean, people believe in people have faith, get to celebrate their faith, and I like religion, and this is religion at its sort of most pure and inclusive sense. I got none of that is the problem. The problem is it's horrible and unwatchable, and there are moment after moment in this, aside from something that I heard you mention before, in this movie that is way too long. It feels like there are giant chunks missing.
Yeah.
Because they just jump from thing to thing to thing. There's a huge fight between the white kid who comes in to sort of save the day and Queen Latifah, and she throws him out of the house, and then bang, the next scene, they're on a banister together, sort of watching the competition. Oh, where did they get? Like, there's no.
Yeah, the Queen Latifah and her daughter have a big argument, and the daughter's like, "You don't think you're she's telling Latifah, you don't think you're attractive." It's like, when was this mentioned?
When did this
ever?
Right, all of a sudden, right, yeah. So
and like they go to a competition and then you don't see them sing. I mean, just crazy, choppy stuff going on.
Yeah, it looks like it got out of hand. It looks like it was, and I have no idea the backstory here. It looks like it was Todd Graff is the writer-director. It looks like it was taken away from him. It has that feel.
I would hope so, because Todd Graff made two really terrific films about teens and about music, Camp and Band Slam. And so I was actually kind of excited to see this because of him, because
Those are good.
They're good movies, and he knows how to handle this material. But yeah, I get the feeling that, I don't know if it was executive producer Queen Latifah or somebody at Warner Brothers, but yeah, this movie feels like not anybody's final cut. It's a mishmash of...
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to have it both ways, because you do have these very sincere moments of religion where, like, Queen Latifah has this solo where she's singing Jesus Fix Me, and they do talk a lot about the importance of praising the Lord or whatever. But then the Jeremy Jordan character sings about I'm in love with a stripper or whatever, and so they do, I think, want to please young audiences and religious audiences all at once, and it in effect does neither of these things.
Yeah, they do these sort of gospel-y versions of things like Man in the Mirror and
that was actually the best song in the whole movie, though.
No, they're
that
lovely,
was a good song.
but they are, but they're it's more that than there is what people would actually call gospel music. And so I think if you're going into this thinking that it's going to be a gospel movie, you're going to be disappointed. If you're going in because you want to see like Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah have like diva cat fights, there's only one, and it's kind of stupid.
It's kind of stupid. It's still probably the best scene in the movie, but it's still pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main thing that I learned from Joyful Noise is that any song can be about Jesus if you want it to be. So like Yeah by Usher is apparently about Jesus.
Yeah,
I was not aware of
me
that.
Me and Jesus are the best of homies. Right?
I like Dolly Parton, but you know, there were moments. You know, she doesn't move very well.
And they make fun of that, all the plastic surgery.
They make fun of the plastic surgery, but that's like the plastic. They make fun of. I get that was good that they made fun of the work she's had done on her face, but like her body doesn't move, and they got to sway with the music, and so I found they're constantly cropping her out of shots. Like she moves out of frame, and Queen Latifah blocks her in a couple of shots so that we don't see Dolly Parton. It was. I just found it. I mean, I really had to look away a couple of times. I shrunk down in my seat. I just was embarrassed.
It was kind of like when Lucille Ball made that one last return to television, and she was still doing slapstick in her 80s, and it was like you thought she was going to break a hip. Yeah. Dolly Parton is not up to this material.
And then the last thing of the part of the credits at the beginning of the movie is. It's like this is with Chris Christopherson, and it's like, man, it's like Chris Christopherson is not in this movie. It's like they had him from 1 to 3:30 on a Thursday, and they do this.
Drops dead before the end of the credits.
He doesn't
count as a spoiler.
Doesn't have a line. He doesn't have a line. He's sort of like.
But then he comes back for this like interminable fantasy duet from the
even
dead.
talk about it without cringing.
It keeps
He and Dolly
going.
Parton have the same face now. Like they go to the same guy, you know.
And I like both these people. It was really, really, really super uncomfortable. And then and their reactions to Dolly Parton, Chris Christopherson's her husband, he dies in the first 9 seconds of the movie. I didn't even realize. I thought I'd missed something, and that he wasn't her husband because no one's reacting to her like a woman who just lost her husband in 40 years.
She's not in mourning for like 2 seconds. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's just
I
like.
thought it was her dad for a little bit, maybe.
No, I did too. I didn't understand. I was like, is it her cousin? Like, what the hell's going on?
Like, there are whole chapters of this film that are missing somewhere, and it doesn't come together at all, and it's a real disappointment.
Can we mention Keke Palmer and Jeremy Jordan are both very good looking, and they can both sing.
She's beautiful.
She's gorgeous. They had these nice moments together.
They can sing. They don't have any chemistry, though.
No, they don't have any chemistry.
No.
But I like the fact that they had the white kid and the black girl get together, and they did it boldly. And you know, and that again is supposed to be a Georgia town hit by hard times, and the town's supposed to rally behind the church. But that doesn't even happen until the end.
Yeah, no, and they keep talking about, we need to win this for the town. I'm like, wait, what town?
What town?
You haven't introduced us to the town.
There's a throwaway line about an
town.
hour and 14 minutes of the movie about Georgia. The best things happen in Georgia, and I'm like, I guess they're in Georgia.
Yeah, you know, like there's one guy whose hardware store closes, but like there's never any discussion about the town or how the town, what they think about the church, what the church does for the town.
How about that guy's solo in the last number?
Oh yeah, when you finally find out why he's in the movie, like he gets to bust out these, you know.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't watch, man. I couldn't watch. This movie's terrible.
One last thing, the chick who has sex with a guy and kills him. That's all I'm going to say.
Totally, yeah. And
it's played for laughs.
It's played for laughs. It's not funny at all.
All right, we should do numbers. We've trashed this movie sufficiently. We should do numbers. I can't remember what I gave it.
2.5, I think?
Yes, the Alonso's
2.5.
I gave it a 2.3, apparently.
Yeah, I gave it a 1, and I feel generous. So
if you want to see a gospel movie, rent Say Amen Somebody, or, you know, there are several terrific documentaries on the subject and great music.
Yeah,
but
great music.
This is...
Rewatch Sister Act.
Yeah, even Sister Act 2 for that matter, or House Party 2 with Queen Latifah.
So that's exactly right. So 1.9 the overall rating there for Joyful Noise.
Jesus wept.
Bye.